Nigel Bates' gentle return to EastEnders was meant to be comforting, but it has slowly become one of the show's most emotionally devastating storylines in recent years. As viewers watch Nigel's quiet descent into early-stage dementia, the storyline stands out precisely because of what it doesn't rely on. There are no villains, no dramatic twists, just the unbearable reality of seeing a much-loved character gradually lose pieces of himself. As Christmas approaches, that emotional weight only intensifies. In true Walford fashion, the festive season doesn't bring comfort but magnifies the pain. What makes Nigel's journey so difficult to watch is how ordinary it feels. The small forgotten moments, Julie's restrained but growing anxiety, Phil's instinctive need to protect him. These details feel achingly authentic, and that realism is exactly why viewers are bracing themselves for what may come next. Unsurprisingly, one question keeps surfacing among fans: is Paul Bradley leaving EastEnders? Since Nigel's return last Christmas, many assumed the actor had signed a limited contract, possibly pointing to an exit around Christmas 2024. The show's continued silence about Paul Bradley's future has only fueled speculation. And with Nigel's storyline taking such a tragic direction, it's hard not to feel that his time on the square may be finite. From what we can see so far, Nigel's story does appear to be moving toward a heartbreaking conclusion, but not an abrupt one. EastEnders is taking its time, carefully charting his decline rather than rushing it. This Christmas marks a significant turning point, with spoilers revealing a deeply emotional milestone: the premiere of Nigel's Christmas film. On the surface, it should be a moment of celebration, a tribute to a man who has been part of the community for decades. Instead, it becomes painfully bittersweet. What should be a joyful occasion quietly signals the start of a more visible and distressing decline. Nigel's memory lapses worsen, and those closest to him can no longer ignore how quickly things are changing. Julie's worry becomes harder to conceal. Phil's attempts to stay strong reveal flashes of fear. And Nigel himself clings desperately to a sense of normality, even as it slips through his grasp. These scenes are likely to be some of the hardest to watch this Christmas, not because they are shocking, but because they are honest. EastEnders often delivers its most powerful moments when it strips away spectacle and focuses on raw human experience, and Nigel's story embodies that strength. So when will Nigel leave Walford? At present, nothing has been officially confirmed. However, all signs suggest his eventual exit will be tied directly to the progression of his dementia. As painful as it is to acknowledge, the narrative appears to be guiding viewers toward a tragic farewell. That goodbye may not come this Christmas. The pacing suggests EastEnders is preparing the audience slowly, piece by piece, for what lies ahead. Whether Nigel's departure happens early in 2026 or later in the year, one thing feels certain: his final chapter is being shaped with care, compassion, and respect, and it is likely to be one of the most devastating, dignified, and unforgettable exits the show has delivered in years. Anthony Truman faces a devastating Christmas milestone as Walford grows increasingly concerned. Christmas in Walford is rarely calm, but this year the festive season brings quiet devastation for Anthony Truman. As the holidays approach, what should be a time of warmth and family instead comes a painful reminder of everything he has lost. Behind closed doors, Anthony is unraveling, burdened by secrets he refuses to confront, making this one of the darkest Christmases of his life. In recent weeks, viewers have watched Anthony's behavior become increasingly unstable, leading to a heartbreaking revelation. His ex-wife Sophie has taken out a restraining order, legally preventing him from seeing his children. The news hit hard, not only for the audience but for the Truman family themselves, who are now forced to face just how far Anthony has fallen. It marks a milestone no parent should ever have to endure. In episodes airing on Monday 22nd of December and Wednesday 24th of December, Anthony reaches an unbearable first, his first Christmas without his children. Though he tries to downplay it, the emotional weight of that loss soon becomes impossible to hide. As Walford buzzes with festive cheer and prepares for Yolande's carol service, one of the square's most cherished traditions, Patrick and Chelsea sense that Anthony is struggling. Determined not to leave him alone, they encourage him to join the celebrations, to reconnect, to feel part of something again. But Anthony shuts them down completely. He makes it painfully clear that he wants no part in Christmas, the service, or any attempt to lift his spirits. His refusal speaks volumes. For a man who once valued control, pride, and stability, this Christmas has become a stark symbol of everything slipping through his fingers. His withdrawal is not loud or dramatic. It's quiet, heavy, and deeply unsettling. EastEnders is clearly positioning Anthony at a dangerous crossroads. His isolation, emotional shutdown, and visible pain all point to a man edging closer to breaking point. The restraining order hasn't just severed his relationship with his children, it has stripped away his sense of identity. Anthony isn't simply a father kept at a distance. He's a man who no longer knows who he is without that role. And in Walford, this kind of withdrawal is rarely the end of the story. It's usually the calm before something far more destructive. What comes next remains uncertain, but the signs are ominous. With the Truman family's complex history and Anthony's unresolved guilt simmering beneath the surface, his turmoil won't stay buried forever. This feels like the early stages of a powerful long-term storyline, one that could unfold into 2026, tackling themes of mental health, fatherhood, loss, and the crushing weight of unspoken regret. One thing is certain, Anthony Truman is heading into Christmas more alone than he has ever been, and Walford may soon feel the consequences. EastEnders lays bare Sam Mitchell's ruthless scheme following Nigel's heartbreaking sacrifice. EastEnders has unveiled a dark new chapter in Sam Mitchell's return to Walford, exposing just how far she is willing to go, as she coldly exploits Nigel Bates' vulnerability for her own benefit. What began as desperation has rapidly spiraled into something far more disturbing. Sam's latest comeback was chaotic from the very start. Broke, cornered, and running out of options, she secretly broke into her brother Phil's house and helped herself to the contents of his safe. Her plan unraveled when Nigel unexpectedly walked in. But instead of confronting her, Nigel mistook Sam for his daughter Claire, a devastating consequence of his early-onset dementia, and quietly let her leave without question. It was a moment that changed everything. Realizing just how confused Nigel was, Sam quickly understood she could use his condition to her advantage. Still believing she was Claire, Nigel offered his help, worried about what he thought were his daughter's financial struggles. Rather than correcting him, Sam chose the unthinkable, plotting how to extract as much money as possible from a man who had already lost so much. Phil later asked Sam to accompany Nigel to Lex's video shoot, hoping she might support him through what was shaping up to be a difficult day. But Sam saw something else entirely, an opportunity to deepen her deception. While spending time with Nigel, she secretly contacted Denise Fox, who had recently agreed to help reunite Nigel with the real Claire. Posing as a concerned bystander, Sam deliberately fed Denise false information, making it appear as though Claire was once again distancing herself from her father. The move was calculated and cruel. By creating doubt and confusion, Sam ensured Nigel remained isolated and emotionally dependent on her, strengthening the lie that she was the only daughter willing to stand by him. Desperate for connection and reassurance, Nigel made a heartbreaking sacrifice, promising financial help to Claire, money he could scarcely afford to give. Instead of pulling back, Sam pushed even harder, fully aware of the damage she was causing. The scenes grow increasingly painful as Nigel speaks with love and pride about the daughter he believes he is helping, completely unaware that Sam is manipulating every conversation while draining him of both money and hope. As Nigel's condition worsens and Sam's lies continue to pile up, viewers will see her scheme escalate in the days ahead. She isn't just risking Nigel's fragile stability, she's gambling with the trust of everyone around her. And when the truth finally comes out, the fallout in Walford is set to be devastating. Martine McCutcheon has reignited excitement among EastEnders fans after revealing she would happily return as Tiffany Mitchell, even more than 25 years after the character's heartbreaking death in Walford. In the world of EastEnders, death has never been an absolute ending. Tiffany's tragic exit on New Year's Eve in 1998 remains one of the soap's most devastating moments. Viewers were left in shock as she was fatally struck by Frank Butcher's car outside the Queen Vic, just seconds after attempting to escape her abusive marriage to Grant Mitchell. That single scene became etched into the memory of a generation, securing Tiffany's place as one of Walford's most unforgettable characters, a legacy that still lingers across the square. Despite Tiffany's on-screen death, Martine McCutcheon insists the door is far from closed. EastEnders has a long history of blurring the line between life and death, and she knows it well. Den Watts famously returned from the grave, Kathy Beale resurfaced years after being declared dead off-screen, and Cindy Beale stunned audiences with her jaw-dropping comeback in 2023. Even characters who remain deceased continue to make their presence felt through visions, dream sequences, and emotional flashbacks. That tradition is set to continue, with Walford legends Pat Butcher and Barry Evans making unexpected appearances in a special episode connected to Nigel Bates's emotional storyline. These returns, almost spiritual in tone, prove that EastEnders is never afraid to bend reality when it serves the story, the emotion, and the nostalgia fans cherish. So could Tiffany Mitchell be next? Martine has confirmed she would be open to returning in any form, whether as a ghost, a memory, or through a twist only EastEnders could imagine. She still holds deep affection for the character that launched her career, and fans have never stopped calling for Tiffany's return. With the show once again exploring powerful Mitchell family storylines and leaning heavily into nostalgia and emotional depth, the timing has never felt more right. Even a brief reappearance would be a monumental moment for longtime viewers. Tiffany Mitchell remains one of the Mitchells' most beloved figures, and her loss continues to echo through Walford. Now more than ever, bringing Martine McCutcheon back in any capacity feels possible in a way it hasn't for over 2 decades.